This is the third episode of Plan to Eat, and I guess I should tell you what that even means. I don't think anybody knows. It just kind of means full of life in French, and because I like French. That's what I came up with. I'm trying to be fancy. But with this podcast, I'm just trying to, I don't know, talk to people more than I used to. I'm a little too introverted, so I'm trying to push myself out there. And pushing myself out there, I thought the best thing to do, I don't know, create a podcast. I don't know. Talk with people, ask them questions. That's what I'm good at. I'm not good at math, I'm not good at science or gym class, but I'm great at talking to people, great at distracting people from life's despairs. It's me. And so this episode, I kind of wanted to talk about, more about creativity, like I did in the last one with my friend. The last episode, I talked with my friend that's in Ontario about what creativity means to her and stuff. So I'll be asking you, I guess, along the same lines of those questions, what creativity means to my friend Belle, and I guess her biggest inspiration. And the reason why I'm talking about inspiration is because I recently watched a Judy Garland documentary about her life, and I didn't really know she had a very sad life.
She had a really sad life.
Yeah. It was just, I don't know how to describe it, it's just really depressing.
Super depressing.
Yeah. And I just, the way she was raised, and her mother putting her on drugs in order to wake her up in the morning, drugs to go to sleep, and that she just had to survive with those drugs. She just could not live a single day without those drugs. It was just, and especially the fact that every time she went on stage, she would just smile so much. She just looked like the happiest person in the whole freaking world. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because if I'm sad, and you're going to see I'm sad. And if I'm pissed off at you, you're going to see I'm pissed off. I can't hide my emotions. But she was going through all these depressing things and just ridiculous situations. And every time she went on stage, it's she's just happy. She's nothing on the outside is happening to her when she's on screen or on stage. Anywho, so she became a big inspiration of mine after that. So I guess I kind of wanted to find out who Belle's inspiration is and why, because inspirations can be a major thing in our lives. They can help motivate us to do better or to reach our goals, especially if they're in the same field that we want to be in. Like Judy Garland's an actress, and I would love to be that. And so seeing how she worked her work ethic, which really wasn't that great, but still kind of okay. All the time she didn't show up to set, we can ignore that. The good parts of her are the parts that I admire, and even the parts where she was broken and she still remained strong. I still admire that. So let's let Belle introduce herself. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Belle, and I have been acting and singing since I was 6 years old. Though I did start dancing when I was 4, found out I was not meant for that life, and very quickly just threw myself into musical theater. So I like to put my benchmark of where I started at age 6. And now I am a nanny sometimes. Sometimes I am I actually didn't have anything else after I do a lot of community theater. I really like to be involved in theater on stage, but if I can't be on stage, I love to be working in some other capacity around the theater. So I stage manage, I design, I've designed sound and lighting before. Oh my gosh. And I mean, I'm still really learning with those fields. I'm definitely not good, but I can do it. And I think that that's fun. I'm a pretty good stage manager. I like to say. I've worked box office, I've worked backstage. I'm one of the marketing people for the theater company in Parksville, Qualicum that I'm on the board for. And yeah, so I've pretty much been involved in theater in every capacity other than physically building sets, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. I do move sets around in the summer a lot, so I do know how to work power tools and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Independent woman.
So, also, I like to have very weird hobbies. I read, sometimes I knit, sometimes I paint, sometimes I bake. Right now I'm baking.
Oh.
So,
what you been baking?
Last time I baked was oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, but those were not like the epic baking experience. I baked some challah bread, and it didn't turn. Oh, it's a Jewish bread that's like eggy. It's got a lot of eggs in it. Didn't turn out very well, but it was my first time trying to bake bread, so I'm hopeful that my next experience will be more positive.
Oh yeah,
but it still tasted really good.
That's the most important part.
So I guess that's me. That's me.
And I have to say, I admire you a lot. Like when I first saw you in hair, because I was the assistant stage manager when at one of the community theaters in Nanaimo, and they were putting on hair, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love hair, and I would love to do this. And I was looking for, I guess, a volunteer opportunity because I wasn't finding any jobs. And so I'm like, well, if I can't find any jobs, somebody recommended try to find some volunteer opportunities, and then that you could put that on your resume and that'll look good. So I said, okay, I'll do that. And so I said, well, I like theater. I love freaking theater. So let's try and find something in theater. And I found Schmooze. Schmooze Productions, which is the name of the company who is in charge of that community theater. And so I went down there. First I talked to Brea on the phone. And then I went to meet Brandine. And then that's when I met all of you guys at that one rehearsal day. And it was just like, I don't know, like the first time I walked in there, I just was like standing still. There wasn't anybody else in there besides Diane at that time. She opened the door for me. But I just stared at the stage and I'm like, this looks amazing. Like the set was already done and everything. And it was just, I don't know.
It was a really beautiful
set.
set.
I don't know, and the trees and the way that the ladders were just blended in with the trees, I don't know, every little tiny little aspect I just loved. And so I just kept staring at the stage until Dean showed up, and I was like, this is just magical. Like, I have to volunteer here. Like, this is perfect. And so then I talked with Brea while you guys all got ready downstairs, and then I met everyone, and I was super shy. I was like, oh my God. All these people are staring at me. I'm high. I'm Martika. It's the most awkward thing. But I went through it. I did it. And then it was a great time. And then when I saw the first rehearsal that night, because Brea was like, you don't have to stay if you don't want to. You could go home. But I'm like, no, I want to watch. Let's see what's happening. See the magic on stage. Because, like, I freaking love theater. Like, I don't know how to describe it in words. Just saying love is just not enough. Like, I love watching it. I most importantly like being on the stage and just acting through it. It's like you just come alive. It's like a whole nother world. And it's so freaking just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I was like, when you were saying how much you love it, and it's like more than love, like, being on the stage in a production like Hair makes me feel so alive. Like, it's the most alive you feel because you're just in it, and you have to sing even though you're out of breath, and you're dancing, and you have to keep smiling, and you have to keep, or crying, whatever the emotion it calls for, and it's just, it's very freeing.
And especially when I saw you on stage, it was like, I don't know, like the sunshine just beaming out on a grassy field. It was just that bright sunshine. And I just kept looking at you like, I hope she doesn't find it weird that I just keep staring at her, but like she just keeps catching my attention. And so at times I have to force myself to look away from you and look at somebody else. And I kept looking at you like, oh my gosh, she's so good. Like, I don't know, like you just, I don't know. You were just really good.
I'm going to say something that is sort of a joke, but you know, Martika, that's not the first time I've gotten that. It's not, but it also like it's really lovely to hear, and it's that thing of no matter how many times my mother says it, it never means as much as when somebody who's not my mother says it. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, you have this way when you act that it's like you just really dive into the character, and like you're not Belle anymore. You're that whoever you are playing, and it's like, it's as if in your past life you were that person. So you feel the pain that that person went through. You know exactly how they'd react in a certain situation. You just know every little move, even like the tiny little details of, I don't know, just it's not like a dumb blonde personality that it was, but it was just, she just doesn't care about anything. So I don't want to say dumb blonde, but she just doesn't care about anything, and she's just free, and she just likes to go with the flow, and she just lives. And if she wants to smoke weed, then she'll just go ahead and do that. And if she wants to go have sex with that guy or girl, she'll just go. And it was just like, just, I don't know, just really free character. So I don't want to say dumb blonde, because like there was just times where it would be like you're twisting your hair, and you know, the stereotypical actions. That's what I mean. But it was, I don't know, it was just amazing.
I'd characterize her more like, I was thinking more of her as a child.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of when you you've never been forced to grow up in some ways, but you've been forced to grow up too fast in other ways. So I liked to say about that character, who was very free with her body, but also very free with like just doing everything, that in 40 years or so, she's going to have to go through some serious therapy to deal with the trauma she like went through to get to that point. But like where Hair is, she's just having fun.
Yeah.
And it was sort of fun to play a character who you could see their future, but you also knew that their present was like so free, which is very different than who I am. So
yeah. Well, I still have to get to know you more, so I don't know.
Well, depends. Certain aspects I'm very free, and certain aspects I'm a closed little butterfly.
Yeah, karaoke, you were a little free, little something, I don't know, but a free little something. But it was fun. It was fun, the karaoke night, because that was the first time that we actually ever hung out together. Prior to that, it was only the cast party, and we didn't even really talk during that time.
Well, you like the shyness that you say that you experience, I feel the same thing. Like whenever there's a new person, I'm always very uncomfortable and unsure of how to interact with anyone.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So it was neat to see you brought in by Jen and other people in the cast. But I was like, don't ask me to do that, because I can't do that.
Yeah. I'll be honest. When I first met you, I felt like you didn't like me.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, well, me too. Trust me. At work, they tell me I come off defensive, and that some people are scared to be around me, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I understand.
Just super shy.
Yeah, it's just shy, and then I don't know. You're just slow to warm to people.
Yeah.
But I felt like, because, like, everyone else was like, yeah, hi, everything. And then you were just kind of like, hi. And I was like, did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong?
Your hair was a cool color, and, like, you looked nice. And I was like, dang, this girl's cool. I can't compete.
Oh, gosh.
Which is, like, my friend Jocelyn, who was also in the show, she thought I hated her for the first year that we knew each other, because she walked in and I was like, she's so pretty. I hope she's not talented, because she's going to be so much better than me. And then she was like, wow, she's giving me the stink eye. She must hate me. And I was just like sitting there being insecure, but it comes off as like, oh, hate her. Yeah. I gotta work on that.
I think it's everyone's personality. Like, we can't change that. Like, I have a strong personality, and a lot of people tell me that I can be hard to approach at times, because I just have like a bitchy stare when I'm just sitting down.
Yeah.
I just look like I hate everyone. And I don't hate anyone, but it comes off that way. I'm just sitting there and I'm just thinking, and like, if somebody's talking, I'm listening to them, but I might be looking somewhere else, or I might be looking right into their eyes, and then they start getting scared, like, did I say something to offend you? And I'm like, no, I'm just listening to you. I'm just observing and listening. But when I listen, it's like it's like the stink face. Oh, but I come to the point where I'm like, I can't change it. It's just who I am. and I'm just gonna accept it. And I'll just let people know that if I ever look like I hate you, I don't hate you. That's all I can say. But it's nice to know you don't hate me.
No, I do not. I do not.
Because I really wanted to get closer to you, and I was really nervous to get close to you and Jocelyn and just the whole cast as a whole, because I know from my one experience in theater that when,
Very worldly.
Mm-hmm, that when a cast is together, they're like a tight-knit family. And it's, to me, it was kind of hard to get through into that, because I felt like they've known each other longer than they know me, and I'm just joining now, so maybe they won't like me, like, and they won't accept me into their little group, but you guys did, thankfully. Thank you so much. And it made me feel right at home every time I went there, and no matter how tired we all were or anything, or if we're angry at each other, like, somebody would be giving hugs, and everything was just all good. Just relax, everything's fine.